I need the turbo 350 out of this white Camaro. So I'm trying to pull the engine transmission out of it. That way I can get the pump out of this turbo 350, because I need this pump out of this turbo 350 for the one I'm building in the hangar. This engine sat outside so long now, I got to pull it apart, clean it up, because it feels like it is rusted up solid. So I mean, it's only been sitting out here like this for like 4 years something. So move 10 millimeter before I lose it. Victory! Got the transmission separated from the motor. It's a purple torque converter. I don't know if that's a monster torque converter or what. And then these clutches, they look like they're brand new. So this, I mean, this may have been rebuilt, I don't know. But I gotta grab the pump and I'm gonna go see if it'll fit in the one I'm rebuilding down to the hangar. So off we go to the hangar. That seems to be a pretty good view down in the transmission. Now, I've already put this turbo 350 together. The actual low clutch apply piston down in there has new seals on it already, and I've compressed it back down into the case, and I had to make a special tool to do that. But I did get it in there. It is in there, and you can see I have my open end over here on my clip, and then it is underneath all four of those little nubs, so it's all locked in there. So now my rear bushing I have knocked in just down inside, so it's not flush, it's past flush. So the reason for doing that is because, let me grab my bearing. Okay, so this roller bearing here has a lip on it. That lip actually locates right there in the back of the case. So that's the first step. So then, let's see, where's it? Oh, it's over here. So I have no spacers on here. And I took it apart because for some reason it felt like I had no endplay on the front end when I set the pump in there. I don't know. But inside here you have this roller bearing in here. So I've got that roller bearing installed. You've got a clip that actually holds the parking pawl and the internal ring gear to the output shaft. This one's got some rust on the splines, but overall it's actually a clean shaft. So I'm using that one. Now, before I go into that though, let me set this aside a second. Okay. So in order to check your clutch clearances down in here, okay, you're going to want to stack your clutches. So one of the things that I did with this transmission is I got the 4L60E support, and it has a much wider sprag race in it, which makes it handle a whole lot more power. So that is a big improvement on these, and this wasn't very expensive. I think I bought it for, I want to say, somewhere around 30 bucks. So that's a huge upgrade for not a lot of money. But what it does is it does change your clearance in here with all your clutches for your low reverse. So I've already measured these. Okay, so I've got my brand new clutches, and then I took 2 good clutches that I had left over from another transmission, and I removed the clutch material from one side of each clutch to keep the best in there. That way I have the spacing that I need for that gives me the proper spacing that I need for the clutch pack with the 4L60E support. So I'm just going to set these down in here. So those are down in, and then I'm going to take and set this 4L60 center support down on top of that. So without all that stuff in there, you can reach through and you can feel that clearance. So I can feel that I have good clearance down there. That is bottomed out, and I can feel that I've got a decent amount of clearance in there. So doing that, that's how you can tell your clearance on this clutch pack in here. So I'll set those aside now. I will grab this back up, and then of course all this is lubed up from assembling it before, but here is my low sun gear planetary whatever, and I have a new bushing. There is okay, so I do have a new bushing inside there as well. I did replace that one. So you just got to get it in there, and then that roller bearing rolls real nice. So now I'll drop this through the middle. Now I don't have a bushing back here. I've got that plastic sleeve. Don't leave that out or you'll have lubrication issues and you will eat a transmission really quick. So the next step is to stack these down in here. So I reference on the very bottom of the case is this little notch in my ring. Come on, there we go. So in the steel, the notch I just set in there. Then steel, another clutch, another steel. Now these are the two clutches that I modified to work together. They're going to be locked in on that planetary, so it's not going to matter. You just need the frictions, but I needed that extra steel spacing in there, and these clutches made the right fit, so I'll put them in there. And then I have no wave in that one because this is supposed to be a race transmission. So now that is in there, so the case saver goes down in there like that, and then we put in the center support, low reverse sprag. Okay, make sure that that race is fully locked in to the planetaries and flat down there. So now that my anti-clunk, it didn't lock. It's not okay. So I have the, dang it. Okay, so the case saver is not where it needs to sit. It's too much fun. Okay, so the case saver has to sit against the case in order for this thing, this center support to actually fit on it. There we go. That actually sat down. So now just the edge of that case saver is sticking up. So if that was an anti-clunk spring, what we would have, if that was an anti-clunk spring, you would put this one end on either side. You've got to get the one end just in on the side of that case saver, and then this other end has to go in on the other side of that case saver. And what I'll do is see if I can get that ring to move. There we go. And then I just like to make sure that my retaining ring is seated all the way down in all my locking lugs. All right, so that is in. Next step is this. It's got a 4-prong washer that actually locks into the race down there for the sprag. And I think that's a low reverse sprag is what that one is, and the center support. So I have that down there now. Then the next step is the sun shell. So now there's the sun shell. Sun shell is in. Okay. Now once the sun shell is in, this has a roller bearing inside here with a step, which needs the bushing in the sun shell has to be down low enough for the step on this bearing, like the one in the end of the case. There's also a okay. I guess I'll do this a piece at a time. So, crap. Okay, there's the bearing in there. So this sits down. Okay, there we go. That was good and solid. I'll put some more transmission goo on there. So this race goes in here, I do believe. That washer, which is actually pretty new, so I'm just going to use it again. This race is good. Come on. That one's down, I think. I think I can actually put the lock ring in there before putting this in, but then I have another. This one wasn't horrible, so I'm going ahead and using it again. And that is a three-prong bushing. Whew. Okay. And just for good measure, I will throw a little. There's this little teeny tiny lock ring. And that bad boy goes in there. You should be able to just... Alright, camera's back on now. Ran out of battery. That's what we have in that drum. I don't know if you can see the clearance there. Clearances I find are a little bit tighter in a turbo 350 than they are in a 400. But anytime you have extra clutches, you do need extra clearance. Okay, there it is. There it is. Finally. Okay. What a pain in the duff. Okay. Anyhow. So there is this roller bearing now. It's really big. It also has a lip on it. Right? So it will go in and reference on that drum. And then it will ride on the inside of this drum here. And there's a new bushing there. Let me show you the clutch pack and this clutch basket. And this time I'll hold my hand over so I don't go flying. But okay. So, I also cut this piston the same way as I cut the other piston. Now, I don't recall exactly how much I cut off, but it was like, I want to say it was close to 120 thousandths or something. I believe I got that specification from somebody else on YouTube, but I cut down this piston and the other piston to fit more clutches. So, once again, when I put a steel in here, and I'm taking out the wave, I don't want a wave in here. So this actually locks in and does not catch and go around in the groove. If you cut that piston down too much, your steel will actually go in that groove. You'll have a no apply situation. So don't do that. Be careful. Make sure that you're on spec when you do this stuff. So I got one clutch, two clutches, three clutches. It's another steel. Is that it? Nope, one more clutch. I'm trying to film it. It's getting ridiculous. Almost lined up. It's so close. Okay, that looks better. Okay. Oh, that is such a pain in the butt. Ah, yeah. Yay! Oh. Now this band, engine braking band goes in. Gets latched in on the case. So braking band goes in, it's latched on the case there, ready for the pin there. Reapply servo. Alright. And then on the intermediates you start with your, you actually start with the pressure plate. Ah, come on. Oh. Okay. Since the pressure plate's the thick one. Oh, come on. Okay, pressure plate. And then we go the clutch disc. Come on. Line up all them teeth. Boom. Then we go with, okay, it's 2 and 3 and 4. Boom. Clutch disc. Another clutch disc. Wait, no, this way. Yes. Yes. Okay, so then those are all clutches and steels for the intermediate. There's 3 of them. And then here's the wave plate, because you always want to have that wave plate on the intermediate clutches on a Turbo 350, because they're huge surface area for the 3 clutches that it has, and it's very easy to break hard parts if that applies too hard, too quick, when you're turning like 7,000 RPM or whatever. So, wave plate. The other 2 drums have 5 clutches each, so they have an extra clutch because I cut the aluminum apply pistons down in them, like 120 thousandths of an inch. I cut them down. Excuse me. Ooh. It's only like 3 in the morning or something. So that's good to go. I was thinking maybe what I would try is setting the pump in on this with no bushing or bearing on the thrust, and see if that gives me any in play, because that will give me kind of a better idea of what I'm looking at. If I go to no thrust washer, because I don't have an H gauge, so I'm going to actually move the camera up a bit so I got some room for the pump to sit through past the legs of the tripod of the camera. And let me go grab the pump. The pump has no seals on it, no selective washer. It does have a seal on it, a gasket, I mean. So I'm going to go ahead and just place that down on there. Oh man, I don't know if that even sat all the way down. That's ridiculous. So I'm still getting absolutely no movement. What the heck is wrong with this crap? It doesn't feel like it's sitting all the way down. Yeah, it's like 314 right now. It doesn't move at all until you pick the entire freaking pump up. See that? I don't get it. Why? There's not even a selective washer in the dang pump. You've all just seen me exactly how I assembled this entire transmission. There's not a shim at all in this transmission.